Most people think the most dangerous place in the world is a dark alleyway or a deserted forest, but they are wrong. The most dangerous place is your own home, specifically the moments right after you have convinced yourself that you are safe. Nostalgic, I remember the night I moved into the house on Belmont Street in Portland. It was a beautiful Victorian, a bit weathered around the edges, but it had that heavy, solid character you just do not find in modern builds. I was 32, recently single, and looking for a place where the silence felt like peace instead of loneliness. The first few weeks were perfect. I spent my evenings unpacking boxes and drinking wine in the kitchen, listening to the floorboards creak as the house settled into the night. You know that sound, do you not? That rhythmic ticking of wood and copper pipes that makes an old house feel like it is breathing. It is supposed to be comforting. It stopped being comforting on a rainy Tuesday in November. I was in the basement laundry room, which was really just a concrete box with a single flickering bulb hanging by a wire. The washing machine reached the end of its cycle and cut out. In that sudden silence, I heard something. It was a soft, sliding sound, coming from the crawl space behind the water heater. It sounded like a heavy winter coat being dragged across dry leaves. I stood very still, holding a basket of damp clothes, and I waited for it to happen again. It did not. I told myself it was just a rat, or maybe a stray cat that had found a way in through the foundation. I went upstairs, locked the basement door, and pushed a heavy kitchen chair under the handle. I told myself I was being dramatic. Over the next week, the feeling of being watched started to follow me. It followed me into the shower. It followed me while I was brushing my teeth. I would turn around quickly, expecting to see someone standing in the doorway, but there was only the empty hallway and the smell of old dust. Scared. Then, the gifts started appearing. They were small things at first. A single copper penny left on my pillow. A hair tie I thought I had lost, placed neatly on the center of the dining table. A handful of dead marigolds arranged in a circle on the bathroom floor. I changed the locks on Friday. I spent $400 on high-security deadbolts and reinforced strikers. I checked every window 3 times before I went to bed. I even went into the basement with a flashlight, heart hammering against my ribs, and searched every inch of that crawl space. There was nothing there but dirt and old cobwebs. No footprints, no signs of life. I went back upstairs, bolted the basement door, and finally felt like I could breathe again. That night, the rain was coming down in sheets, blurring the streetlights outside my bedroom window. I fell into a deep, heavy sleep, the kind that feels like drowning. I woke up at 3:14 a.m. I know the exact time because the red glow of the digital clock was the only light in the room. The air in the bedroom felt heavy, thick with a scent I could not immediately place. It was metallic and sweet. I felt a draft. My bedroom door, which I always kept closed, was standing wide open. Scared, I reached for my phone on the nightstand, but my hand hit something else instead. Something wet, something soft. It was a piece of raw meat, a steak, perfectly marbled, sitting right where my phone should have been. My heart began to race so fast I thought it might burst through my chest. I sat up and looked toward the open door. In the dim light of the hallway, I saw a shape. It was not a ghost. It was not a monster. It was a man, crouched in the corner where the wall meets the ceiling, his limbs elongated and trembling with effort. He was staring at me. He was wearing my old college sweatshirt, the one I thought I had lost in the move. His skin was the color of a mushroom, pale and translucent, and his eyes, they were wide, unblinking, and filled with a terrifying, desperate sort of love. He did not move towards me. He just crouched there, vibrating with a low subharmonic hum that I could feel in my teeth. Get out of my house. I scrambled out of the other side of the bed, grabbing a heavy brass lamp from the dresser. I swung it wildly, but the man didn't flinch. He didn't even blink. He just tilted his head, his neck snapping with a sound like dry kindling. Then he spoke. His voice was a dry rasp, the sound of sandpaper on bone. He said, "I like the way you sleep." Long ran. I did not grab my shoes. I did not grab my keys. I ran out of that room, down the stairs, and fumbled with the locks on the front door. My hands were shaking so hard I could barely turn the deadbolt. I could hear him behind me. Not running, not rushing, just that slow sliding sound, the sound of a coat being dragged over dry leaves. I burst out into the rain and ran until I reached the gas station 3 blocks away. The police came. They searched the house from top to bottom. They found the basement door wide open, the chair I had pushed under the handle tossed aside like a toy. They found a small hidden crawl space behind the drywall in my bedroom closet that I never knew existed. Inside, they found a nest. That is the only word for it. It was made of my stolen clothes, my discarded mail, and locks of my hair that he had gathered from my hairbrush over the weeks. They also found a series of Polaroid photos, hundreds of them. All of them were of me, sleeping. Some of them were taken from the foot of my bed. Some were taken from inches away from my face. They never caught him. He vanished into the rain that night and he stayed gone. I moved out the next day. I left almost everything I owned behind. I did not want anything that his hands might have touched. I moved across the country, to a modern apartment building with a 24-hour doorman and steel doors. I thought I was safe. I really did. It has been 6 months now. I have a new life, a new job, and I am finally starting to sleep through the night again. Last night, I came home from work and dropped my keys on the kitchen counter. I went to the fridge to get some water, and that is when I saw it. There, on the center of the kitchen island, was a single copper penny. I looked around the room, my breath catching in my throat. I checked the front door. It was locked. I checked the windows. They were secure. I walked into my bedroom, my heart heavy with a familiar, suffocating dread. I turned on the light and looked at my bed. The covers were pulled back, just the way I like them before I climb in. And there, tucked neatly under the pillow, was a handwritten note on a piece of my own stationery. It only had 4 words on it. "You look tired, honey. I am sitting in a hotel room now, writing this. I can hear the people in the next room laughing. I can hear the cars on the street below. But every time the wind brushes against the window, or a floorboard creaks in the hallway, I freeze, because I know he is out there, and I know that locks do not matter. He does not want to hurt me. That is the most terrifying part. He wants to take care of me. He is waiting for me to close my eyes, and I am so tired. Are your doors locked tonight? Are you sure? You should check one more time, just to be safe.